first of all, let's go through some stuff that you can do as a bit of a pre-ride warm-up. So when we think about warm-up, what we want to try and do is we want to do some dynamic movement. So it's really easy to think about, righto, cool, I'm going for a ride. I'll do just my really basic, just have a quick quad stretch, do maybe a calf stretch. And look, they are beneficial and they do have their place, but what we really want to try and do is actually get us doing some dynamic stuff. So actually we're moving and we're stretching as we're doing that. So what we're going to go through here is just 5 or 6 exercises hitting some of the key areas before our ride. So our pre-ride warm-up. So what we're going to do first is, again, we'll start sort of at the bottom and work our way up. So first one, really simple, just grab the side of your bike there and we're just going to run through a couple of calf raises. So just trying to get those calves moving. We know they're an important part of our cycling and we know we want to get them going. The next one we're going to go through again is a really simple one, is just a leg swing. So making sure as we're doing this, we want to try and think about as we come back, we're decelerating. So what you'll see is people just throw the leg around, not really controlling what they're doing. So we want to think about accelerating as we come up and then controlling that deceleration as we come back. With the toe, if you're finding that you are a little bit tight through the nerves, you sometimes get some sciatic glute pain, just being careful of what your foot does. If you have your toes pointed up, it is going to load the nervous system a little bit more. If you have your toe pointing down as you kick out, you'll notice it does get your hamstrings a little bit more. Next one, just moving into that side-on position and doing our leg swings across the side. Again, working on that glute and groin area through there. Next one we're going to work on is just a basic little bit of a lunge. So just trying to stretch out those hip flexors as we go. So just taking a step forward, knees come down. As we get to that position, reaching up, pushing the hips forward. So just working on stretching in through the front of our hip, but also getting a little bit of thoracic extension through our back as we go. Then we'll come down, rotate around. We know that the thoracic rotation is really important, especially when we're looking for cars when we're out there. Next up, we're going to go to our mid and lower back, and we're just going to do some windmills. So again, really simple. You might have seen all sorts of sportsmen doing these on TV. Leaning forward, arms start down in front. We reach up and just get our gentle rotation from side to side. Really trying to loosen up, mainly through our thoracic to mid-back, but also a little bit of lower back as well. The next one we're going to do, we sort of skipped an area there, so we'll go back. He's just basically doing some hip hinges. So again, we're making sure that when we're on the bike, we want a lot of our forward bend to make sure it's coming through our hips rather than our lower back where we're rounding out like that. So again, just standing up tall. Often I get people to put hands on hips just so they know where that movement's coming from, keeping that back in a nice neutral position and just practicing that gentle bend forward. It'll work as a hamstring stretch as well. If you're finding that you're really feeling it down through the back of the knee or even into the calf muscle, as you do it, just unlock your knees a little bit more and you'll notice you probably get a little bit more range. We're just taking those nerves off stretch. Finally, we're just going to go through some shoulder stuff. Again, stretching out the back of those shoulders, side to side, and then basically just some shoulder rolls. The last one we can often do as well, depending if you do get a little bit sore through your neck while you're riding, is again just some really gentle side to side neck stretches, down in front, and then just gently doing a little bit of a roll from side to side. So there you can see it, look, under 5 minutes, we've pretty much hit most of our major body areas, really kept it moving and kept it dynamic as we're going. So now we're going to run through some of our more static stretches. These are great for any of our cool downs, any of our sort of midweek when you've just got a little bit of time on your hands, you don't want to go through a full routine. Again, they're okay before a ride, but like we talked about previously, we want to try and get a little bit more dynamic stuff going while we're doing our pre-ride warm-up. So again, continuing the theme, we're going to work from the bottom up. And first one, again, we've done the release through our plantar fascia with the ball, but now we're also going to do a little bit of a stretch. So taking a seat, what we want to do, again, if you're getting pain through the bottom of your foot, if you wear orthotics, things like this is often a really good stretch for you. So bringing that foot up onto our opposite leg, reaching through, grasping our toes with our fingers, and then just gently trying to pull them back towards our knee. You should feel the stretch in through the bottom of your foot here, and again, a really good one for people who sometimes get some foot pain. Next up, the good old-fashioned calf stretch that everybody knows and loves. Everyone does it. Look, grabbing something you can lean on, whether it's a partner, can be a bike, even just the wall, stepping that foot back, up onto the toe, and then just making sure we keep our hips forward and gently trying to push that heel down towards the floor. What we want to avoid is when people do this stretch, they'll often throw their hips back as well, and then it turns into a little bit more of a nervy hamstring stretch. The next one is what we call a soleus stretch, or a knee to wall, so the muscle that sits even deeper to the big chunky gastroc muscles on the back of our calf there. So basically what we want to do, it's almost like a lunge, but we're not going into a full lunge. Sometimes it's called a knee to wall because people will try and pop their foot on the floor, heel stays flat, and we gently just lean forward. Again, trying to feel the stretch up through the front of the leg. Often it's a good one to get working together with your calf stretch that we worked on just before. So having the knee to wall working at the front, and then we push back into a calf stretch on the back leg. Next, another couple of basic ones is our quad stretch. So coming up into that standing position, trying to keep the knee facing forwards and down, not out to the side. If you find it really hard to get into that position, it could be that you are really quite tight through those lateral structures, and that's where some of your ball rolling, your self-release through the outside of your legs is going to be really helpful. Next one, again, is our hamstring stretch. Can be done in lots of different ways. If you've got a chair, if you're just warming down, there's nowhere to sit down after the ride. Just gently, foot out in front, leaning forward, toe pointed down to try and make sure we're getting more of our hamstring muscle. If you want to try and stretch out some of the nerves that run down the back of the leg, lifting that toe up, and you should feel it in through the back of your knee a little bit more rather than up in the hamstring. Same can be done sitting down, foot out in front. Again, with a little bit of a bent knee is going to bias the hamstring muscle rather than the nervous system down through the back. Straight knee with toes up is going to actually stretch a lot more of the nerves rather than the muscle. Next, we'll go into our hip flexor. So again, the side we want to stretch, we're coming down into a kneeling position. Another little mistake a lot of people make with this one is that they lean forward as they come forward. I don't feel the hip flexor stretch, my hip flexors aren't tight. What we want to make sure is that as we come forward, we also want to push our bottom down underneath us and lift our chest up nice and tall, so then we start to feel it down through the front of the thigh here. Next one is a groin stretch. Again, easiest way to do it in a standing position is standing tall and gently coming out to the side there. Can also be done, many people you'll see doing it in a seated position where they keep the bottom of the feet together, hands come in towards the ankles, and then using the elbows, just pushing a little bit of gentle pressure down on the knees. As we move up, we then go into the glutes. These can be done down on the floor or in sitting again. A really good sitting one, similar to the position where we're doing our plantar fascia stretch. That foot comes up onto the opposite knee, little bit of pressure down through the outside knee, and then just gently leaning forward. You should feel this up through the glute. If you're doing this at home and you've got, or a space where you can lay down on the floor, I'll just move that camera just a little bit so it's a bit easier to see. Having a lay on our back, knees bent up, one knee comes up onto the other leg. We reach through the leg that's still sitting on the floor until we can get to our shin, and then we're gently trying to pull this knee here, so the one we're holding, back towards our chest. Next up, we look at our thoracic area. Again, we did it in our dynamic one with our lunge. This is where it's often helpful to have a chair. What we're going to do is gently, having our back sitting against the chair, hands up behind our head, and we're just gently stretching back over the edge of the chair. Again, wiggling around so we can get different areas in our lower back, sliding down a little bit, and arching back through there. Another really common one that's great is our pec stretch. So again, especially in our mountain bikers, gets really tight, you're in the attack position, you're going down the trail, you're absorbing bumps. Same for our Gears and Beers guys, you're going to be out there on the rough surface, you're going to be a lot tenser through the front here, so making sure that we really stretch out through that pec. So again, I'll use the bike here, but all we need to do is just have a little bit of resistance that we can hold and pulling forward. Having that arm at different heights, so using it against a wall, a signpost, a mate is the other one, is going to get different areas of the pec and different fibres of the pec. So it's good to start down nice and low and slowly just work our way up to there. Again, we talked about before, our neck stretches, coming around through the side, down in front. So there we go, guys. We've pretty much gone through a lot there today. So we've got our dynamic warm-up, our static warm-up, our exercises using our equipment, and hopefully you can take a little bit out of that. Look, as I said, it's not an exhaustive list, it's a basic list that is designed to try and get you through and show you what to start with. If you have anything you'd like to discuss with myself or even any of our other therapists here at the clinic, just give us an email. Our easiest email address is mail@activephysiowagga.com.au, or get in touch with us with any of our social media accounts, including Active Physio Coolman, Active Physio Wagga. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Our phone number is 69257734. Again, for the guys who are here for Gears and Beers, good luck tomorrow. Hopefully, as I said, the weather's good. I'm sure you'll love it out there. I'm a Coolman local, so make sure you stop in at the food stop out there and really fill up. And yeah, good luck with all your cycling. Cheers, guys.